Islam, Shalom, Hola, Aloha, Osio, Bonjour, Assalamu Alaikum. This your brother Zach Bay, Indigenous American Moor. Do you have questions about claiming your nationality? Are you confused or hesitant on how to get started or where to get started? Resources on what to study, questions and answers, maybe even a question on where to purchase an authentic fez. Help me help you. Book your session below. Use keywords Moorish nationality.
Alex Jones just exposed that the lab-grown meat that the billionaires have been pushing on us is being made with HeLa cells. If you don't know what a HeLa cell is, a HeLa cell was a cancer cell that was taken from Henrietta Lacks. And when I say taken, I mean taken without her consent. And Big Pharma took those cells and used them for medical research and used them to develop pharmaceutical drugs. I mean, the medical industry and the pharmaceutical industry is largely built on Henrietta Lacks and her stolen cancer cells. Now, this reminds me of the book Delectable Negro, because that book exposes how white tea people ate Nat Turner. We are still dealing with cannibalism to this day. People want to drain Black people's essence, or others want to drain our essence and leave us with nothing. It is so sick because we are seen as the fuel for the world, the food for the world. We are literally used as a life force and like cattle. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how people treat cows and chickens. Like, long gone are the days where people thank the cow and the chicken for its sacrifice. Like, people just treat cows and chickens like, well, isn't that what you're on this planet for? That's how Black people are treated. So with this being said, we need to continue to outlaw and ban and just completely not eat lab-grown meat. Be careful where you shop. I think it's about time that we divest from conventional grocery stores, especially if you don't live here in Texas, where Greg Abbott, love him or hate him, has banned that raggedy ass lab-grown meat that Bill Gates wants us to eat. Support your local farmers, support your local butchers. It's time to build community. Divest from corporate America and the corporate giants as a whole. Now, I didn't know that this wasn't common knowledge. And if you didn't know this, that means you don't follow me. But white people have always indulged in cannibalism. They ate their slaves and they ate Black people that were free after the Emancipation Proclamation, after lynchings. If you didn't know this, you don't follow me. And if you don't follow me, you should follow me. My name's Chemistry. I teach Black history. I'm not part of Hillman Talk. I just do this for fun and out of the passion that I have for spreading Black history. And just like everything else on my page, I'm not just feeding you a bunch of bullshit. There are a plethora of books that you can look into that proves that this is a fact. Books like The Delectable Negro, which covers recipes of how to eat Black people. Another book called Edible People, The Historical Consumption of Negroes and Foreigners, and I believe it was like The Cannibalistic Trade. And that's just two of many. But yeah, if you want to know more about the topic, if you scroll down on my page, I have a video called White People Ate Black People.
Hell no, Cracker Barrel, what the fuck? Keanu Reeves drive 33 miles away to a Cracker Barrel interview in Detroit. I mean, damn, 33 miles and Cracker Barrel? We already know the things that come behind them. Now she get done with the interview. Immediately she called her mom right after. So she stepped outside and then she told her mom like she don't think that the interview went well. It was a bad vibe and that she was gonna go back inside to use the bathroom. You know the fact that she about to get on the road and drive 33 miles. Not only that though, y'all, she did to her mama. Dude who did interview her, John Gacy, was asking her unsettled, uncomfortable questions, asking about her COVID-19 vaccination and if she an organ donor. So after hours passed, her mama is freaking out. She called and started looking for her daughter. But listen though, y'all, when the police get there, they look on the camera and they see her walking in the building, walking into the bathroom, but never come out. Now this when the story get good, but crazy at the same time. Y'all, Keanu Reeves have been found 900 miles away from her crib, alive. She was found roped and duct taped in the back of a refrigerator delivery van heading to Low Pass Foods in Oklahoma. Now listen up, this in black and white. He said this is a major meat supplier for McDonald's. This how you know she was covered in love, you hear me? The state police had pulled him over for a tail light that was out. And that's when they discovered her. They did find her disoriented, but they did rush her immediately to the hospital. They did say she back in stable conditions and she getting the right treatment. Now the driver, 50-year-old Daniel Martinez, was arrested on the scene. He will be facing kidnap charges. Now he don't have no record, right? But he said that he was just making the regular routine meat delivery. That he never knew that she was in the back of the van. I don't know, y'all. Seemed a little weird. How did she move across state lines like that so quick and nobody don't know nothing? That he was in the back of a van? Fuck out of here. So I am glad, y'all, she is back home with her family, you know, and she's safe. Go do yourself.
We take the children of our enemy, which is the white race, and we bring them to the basements in the synagogues where we drain the blood and watch them die there. It's very similar to how we do the sacrifices that we do with the kosher butchering, and so we do that, and then we mix it with the Passover bread, and so we eat the blood of our enemies. And the bodies, we're not cannibals, so what we do is we take those, because we can make some shekels, and we give them to the slaughterhouses, and those are pounds and pounds and pounds of meat that we grind up in the sausage and the hamburger, and that's why we made those the most popular thing, sausage for breakfast and hamburger for lunch. And so all the goyim out here are really eating their children. And even when we say this outright and tell you people, you don't believe it. So that's...
Before Yom Kippur, tens of thousands of Hasidic Jews in Brooklyn will purchase and physically handle live chickens in the largest wet market in the country. With little to no PPE, they will swing the chickens around their heads as part of an annual atonement ritual called Kapporos. The chickens will be killed in about 30 pop-up slaughterhouses erected without permits on public streets in violation of 8 New York City health codes. The body parts, blood, and feces of thousands of animals will contaminate the streets for days. Because they're held in crates for up to several days with no food, water, protection from weather extremes, or veterinary care, many of the animals develop compromised immune systems and show signs of respiratory disease. The chickens make each other sick, and they also infect people who handle them with E. coli and Campylobacter. If the viruses that they harbor commingle and mutate into a more dangerous strain, then these wet markets could be the source of another zoonotic disease outbreak. According to a toxicologist who studied fecal and blood samples taken during Kapporos, the ritual poses a significant public health hazard. Hasn't COVID-19 been disruptive and deadly enough?
This is just absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. In the middle of New York City. Look at this. Look at this. Are you kidding me? And they call this a mitzvah. They say this is a good deed. This kid is a slaughterhouse worker in the middle of the street in New York City. This is Division and Lee in Brooklyn, New York. And there's a trash can right there overflowing with dead bodies. Overflowing with dead bodies, and everyone's complicit. Everyone's complicit. They think it's funny. They think it's awesome. They think that they're superior to us because we don't participate in crap like this. This is just unreal. Oh my god. Collecting the dead bodies. They had to start a new trash can of dead chickens because that other one's overflowing. Look how back up they are. They have all this staff over there. They have all these people processing the bodies and they can't even keep up pace with all the chickens that they're killing. And we just take this, we just let this happen.
CBS News said human DNA in food.
Human DNA in 2% of the samples and in 2/3 of the vegetarian samples. And get this, 10% of all vegetarian products appear to contain meat. Clear Foods says that there are some companies producing high quality hot dog, top scores to Butterball, McCormick, Eckrich, and Hebrew National. Human DNA.
Remember what Vladimir Putin said about us being fed other Americans? There's no way this is from a cow. That looks like a big arm or a small leg. That is not beef. Not too long ago, Putin did say that Americans are being fed other Americans. And you can't tell me this is what a cow leg looks like. This looks like a small leg or a large arm. But we've been wrong before. As always, let me know what you think in the comments. Stay weird.
They find out that they were planning on selling her meat on the dark web. This is one of the reasons why everybody needs to stay off the dark web. So this happened in 2020 in Missouri to this lady named Cassidy Rainwater. One day that year, she ends up going missing without a trace. Everybody around her that knew her was pretty much like, what the hell happened to her? People that knew her, they contact the police. The police end up doing a investigation trying to figure out what the hell happened to this lady and where did she go. They get an anonymous tip from someone who sends them an image. It's a picture of this lady, Cassidy Rainwater. She's in a cage and she's like partially naked.
Oh.
While they're doing all their research, it leads them to these two men that live in the same area. And one of the guys actually was pretty close to her. And he was this dude who she trusted and he was helping her get on her feet. They get like a warrant to go inside these guys' houses, and when they go inside of their house, they're just finding a couple weird things that they're like, okay, this is weird, this is a little bit weird. And then one of the investigators was like, you know what, I want to check the fridge. To these people's surprise, they open the fridge, they find a whole bunch of meat that is packaged with a date on it. Pretty much the date was around the same time this girl Cassidy went missing. They end up taking these guys, they take them in. As they're in custody, they take all of these bags of meat and they start to, scan it for the DNA and see what it is. It matches with Cassidy's DNA.
Damn.
These people end up interviewing them. They're interviewing the guys. They find out that they were planning on selling her meat on the dark web.
Really?
Yes, and that's why these guys chopped her up. And these guys had I don't want to say a market of it, but there was guys online that wanted to buy.
Clients.
Yes, and that's why they had that picture of her in the cage. It's basically like when you see a cow and they'll show a picture of it alive and be like, hey,
this is the
cow we're selling. They were doing that with this girl Cassidy.
Whoa.
That's why they had her in that cage like that.
Islam, shalom, hola, aloha, bonjour, osio, assalamu alaikum, konnichiwa. This is your brother Zach Bay, Indigenous American Moor, coming to you live in full effect. Like, share, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell down below so you can be notified whenever I'm dropping some new content. Leave a comment, interact with me. Thank you. I really do appreciate your viewership. Let's jump into another one. Hey, we're back at it again. Hopefully you enjoyed those videos at the beginning to help lay the groundwork for the topic I want to discuss today. So this is another episode of Food Wars, and I want to focus on cannibalism, fam. Very, very important topic, and this is also going to lead into other topics I want to speak on my demon hunting series, right? Yeah, but those clips at the beginning, very, very interesting. More than food for thought, right? It's like, what's really in the food? Like I've said time and time again on plenty of my videos how I stopped eating a lot of the ground meats, that you have to be careful for lab grown meats, ground meat products containing carcinogens, all kinds of chemicals, preservatives, additives, and all kinds of stuff like that. But forced cannibalism, I've spoke on this more than once before. Check some of my previous videos. But if you don't have the taste for human flesh, they're just forcing it upon you, fam. With the ground meats, sausage, hamburgers, all kinds of processed, mechanically separated meat byproducts, spam. Like, I wouldn't trust any of that stuff, fam. I wouldn't trust any of that stuff. A lot of the products that have pork in it, because if you have any knowledge of ballistic testing, whenever they test ballistic rounds, all right, when they fire at ballistic dummies to see the trajectory, the velocity, the penetration, the depth, all this damage that a projectile could potentially do to a target. I've said this before, in order to mimic how a human body would react to such a force, they often use pig carcasses. All right, if you ever watched the old show, I believe it was Deadliest Warrior. It used to come on Spike TV back in the day, but they were testing ancient weaponry, swords, axes, all kinds of things, spears. But they would test these weapons on pig carcasses, right? Because pig carcasses mimic how human carcasses react, right? And there's also rumors that pork taste, or humans taste like pork. All right, I can't attest to this. All right, but there's rumors to say that pork and human flesh taste very, very similar when cooked. So that's another reason why I believe Muslims and Muslims do not eat pork, as well as people who follow the Jewish faith, right? The originals. But it's pretty wild that the FDA, all right, actually allows a certain amount of human DNA to be found inside of food products, fam. They allow a certain amount to be found in there, saying that just since there's people working inside of these factories, is a small chance that some hair cells, some skin cells could fall into a vat of mixtures. You know what I'm saying? So obviously that's true. All right, you can't stop skin cells from falling and from being blown as dust. You know, you can't stop hair follicles from falling out. You know, people have tiny fragments of hair, you know, falling all over, microscopic amounts. All right, but they allow up to like 2% or even more from time to time to be found inside these byproducts. There's been a lot of rumors on people going missing. All right, there was a clip about a girl who went on an interview to a Cracker Barrel, right? And then she went missing inside the bathroom. All right, I've spoken about these underground tunnels, these underground secret passageways. All right, all these this underground network that connect often businesses. All right, in different organizations, even like churches and government buildings and facilities and stuff like that. Often they are connected to restrooms. I spoke about how in Disneyland and Disney World, they said children often went missing inside restrooms and bathrooms, and that's because that there were secret passageways inside of there that could be opened with like secret levers, right? So a young lady went to an interview at the Cracker Barrel. She stepped outside. She called her mom. She had a weird feeling, went back inside, went inside the restroom. Security camera seen her go in, never seen her come back out. And allegedly she was found like a state away or so. And her and I believe someone else were in the back of a food shipping container, a food shipping truck, like a refrigerated truck that transport meat. So allegedly that truck was being taken to a fast food place, allegedly McDonald's. All right, I don't have all the information, all the details, but as far as that clip said, it was going to like one of these fast food chains. Very, very interesting stuff, fam. Something to always be aware of. You know, you got to keep your head on the swivel. Besides just the food and the meat that you might not know what it is, whether it's GMO, genetically modified, whether it's lab grown, chemical, vat created, or whether it's strange meat taken from a cadaver. So you never really know. You have to be very, very careful out here. Use your God-given discernment. And then the water, fam, the water that's coming out the tap, bathing in it, drinking it, I definitely wouldn't recommend drinking it. I recommend, using spring water if you are able to. Having the tap water has high levels of birth control in it, high levels of lead in it, high levels of fluoride in it, which pacifies you and calcifies your pineal gland, high levels of atrazine in it, which is a chemical component that seems to be forcing homosexuality. The whole scientists who did the research about how the water is turning frogs gay, right? You can actually look that up. There's a whole research about it, and it's wild that that's still not like front page news, but it was definitely published in scientific journals and articles. So very, very interesting stuff, fam. It's like we're being attacked on all fronts, honestly. Trying to stay righteous, trying to stay sane, just trying to keep your vibration high, not to be forced into sin, not to be forced into cannibalism, fam. They're forcing us into sin. Something else, I have a hypothesis. Whenever these rituals are done with the Khazars doing the chicken rituals, right? I showed the clip. The chickens, when they wave the chickens over the head, that's supposed to cleanse them of the sins that they have done, all right? And then those chickens are slaughtered and they're drained of the blood, all right? And then there's a clip that talks about why the blood is drained and what these people like to do with the blood. They eat it allegedly with the bread. But I think about a spiritual aspect to it. What exactly happens to all that meat, to all those chickens? Those people don't eat it, all right? My hypothesis is those carcasses are then taken to butcher shops, and those butcher shops process the meat, and then that meat and that chicken is being sold to fast food restaurants, other restaurants that buy it probably at a discount, because it's not just the fact that a unclean ritual has been done on it, right? It's also a spiritual aspect of sins. Their sins has been passed on to this vessel, all right, to that chicken, and then they sell it to us, so-called goyim. They call us goyim. They sell it to us to eat, right, inside of these restaurants. So therefore, they're feeding people cursed meat. You get what I'm saying? They're feeding people meat that has been relieved from their sins, passed on to this bird, and then the bird is being consumed by the people that they consider their enemies or less than them, right? That's what it is, fam. Because I highly doubt that they're throwing all those birds away. I highly doubt that they're wasting all of that. They definitely have to make a few shekels, right? So once again, this is your brother Zach Bay, Indigenous American Moor. Let me know how I'm doing down below. Like, share, subscribe to my channel. Peace.
Do you feel that you could be in danger because you're Dr. Seppi's son?
Every black person in America is in danger.
Damn.
It's no matter if you're selling dope, the water you're drinking is not good for you, The water that coming from your shower is not good for you. So everybody's in danger in America.
Biggest drug that they found in tap water, do you know what it is?
Fluoride.
Birth control.
What?
Birth control is the highest toxic compound found in tap water.
Wow.
So boys are consuming this. You got to think about testosterone dumping. Of course, because you're getting estrogen. You're getting birth control. You know what I'm saying? Like, no wonder our hormones are all jacked up.
Yeah, you're showering in it, you're drinking it, it's in your food, it's in your bread,
yes.
Pasta.
And pasta and everything, and everything.
Even your fruits, they're watering it.
Yes, fruits and everything.
Vegetables.
I mean, you can't even drink a bottle of water in plastic because of the nanoplastics and the microplastics.
Crazy.
It's just, they're setting us up for failure.
Scientists are finding a spoonful of microplastics in the brains of dead bodies they are autopsying. Sorry, a spoonful of plastic in their brain. And this is standard across everyone that they are autopsying. In 2016, it was 50% less, but we are consuming far more plastic in our food these days. So It's 50% more than that. Any foreign body in our brain is not great, especially when it adds up to a spoonful. So what is actually happening to us when this happens? Well, since most of it is being found in the frontal lobe, which is in charge of cognitive function and logic, that's probably why in the most recent years we've become really stupid. I'm seeing when they autopsy dementia patients, they have 3 spoonfuls in their brain, which probably explains why dementia is on the rise in the United States. Are they going to do anything to counteract this? Well, they say we should stop consuming food that's packaged in plastic, but funny story, most food is. And this would include water bottles too, right? They could change this literally right now. Why aren't they? Probably because the people in power know that slowly lobotomizing us without our knowledge makes us compliant and not fighting back. So.